Many people are asking me, is it really necessary to have a business email for your Amazon business? Well, I'm going to answer that question in this video. Stay tuned. Right, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson, and I've been selling on Amazon doing online arbitrage for the last 5 years. Now in the UK, I'm a 7-figure Amazon seller, check this out, and in the USA, I'm a 6-figure Amazon seller, check this out. Now hopefully in the near future, we're going to expand into another marketplace, and if you're interested in learning how I've done it, what I'm doing, what I'm learning on the journey as well, do make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But hey, enough about me, what are we going to go through today? Well, first things first, number one, I'm going to be talking about what is a business email. Now, number two, I'm going to talk about the answer to that question. Do you need a business email for your Amazon business? And then finally, number three, if you do decide you want one, we'll talk about how you can set up your own business email for your Amazon business and obviously give some tips on that. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, what is a business email? Well, look, a business email is quite simply an email address used specifically for your organization and basically includes the company name within the email itself. Now, the business emails have so many functions, but most of the time they are, if you say, used to help identify who you're communicating at what business. Now, some Amazon sellers use their business email to communicate and transact with their suppliers or a prep center, and they feel that, should you say, potentially it might give them a lot of benefits. And I'll list some of those benefits out now. So first things first, it makes your business look more professional. When you're communicating with your supplier or your prep center using your name at company, for example, it helps create a professional image, much more so than, should you say, thomas@gmail.com, which is a bit more personal. And also in addition to this, it's going to help you seem a more established and more professional operation, which could in turn likely to, should we say, help you secure more accounts and better business. Now, for example, in my two Amazon businesses, I have separate business email addresses, one for my Amazon UK business and one for my Amazon USA business. And these are separate from my Fast Track FBA business. Now, we use these emails whenever we transact with our suppliers and our prep centers. And this is also my team as well. They all have their own business email, which we use for the business. And this helps support the business in our communication efforts with suppliers and prep centers. Now, the second benefit, I'll say, if you are like me and you have a team, it allows your suppliers and your customers to see that whoever emails you from your team, you are part of the team. Why? Because if I have like Tom, for example, at gmail.com, and then I have, I don't know, staff member 1 at gmail.com, how does a customer know that they work for my company? But instead, if it's Tom at fasttrackfba.com or staff member 1 at fasttrackfba.com, it's very easy to understand that we come from the same company. And as a result, we know each other and we're working together. So that just really helps you out and it gives your team, if you say, more of a company feel, but also when they're working with suppliers and distributors and manufacturers and prep centers, it's really going to help them to understand who they're dealing with. Now, the third benefit for you is going to be dealing with suppliers. Now, quite simply, there are going to be suppliers, manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors who do not allow or do not want to work with third-party sellers who are selling on the Amazon platform. Now, many Amazon sellers like me have experienced that, whereby when we're trying to work with these distributors, manufacturers, or wholesalers, we have been rejected. And one of the easiest ways to reject us is because we do not have a professional email address. Now, in my Amazon wholesale business, we have cases whereby suppliers have let us because they believe that we are a business who is maybe transacting off Amazon, doing something else, maybe onto our own Shopify store. And the net result is that our business email has led to that impression that we are not, should we say, an individual seller, maybe reselling on Amazon, but instead we are actually a big business selling with our own platform, and our email has really helped support that. Now, whilst quite simply the supplier hasn't stated this, we can believe that, should we say, the email and the addition of a Shopify store has supported that, should we say, outcome. Whereas if we didn't have that email address, it would likely have led to more questions, and as a result, we would have lost the supplier account. So it helps you as a seller create the impression that you are a serious established business entity, and this is going to support you or support the seller or the manufacturer in selling their products through an established business, not someone who's selling on Amazon from their bedroom. Okay, quick question for you guys. Are you using a business email address right now? Let me know in the comments down below. Simple yes or no. Really interested to know. And hey, perhaps maybe you tell me who you're hosting it with. Maybe I can learn something from you as well. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, this leads me nicely onto my second chapter. Do you actually need a business email for your Amazon business? Now, let me answer this question very directly and straight away. No. you don't. Having a business email is not a necessity to, should we say, sell on Amazon, nor is it a necessity to create wholesaler, manufacturer, or distributor accounts. I've known many sellers who are not using a business email with their Amazon business, and they have managed to make a huge profit, big revenues, and this is not only dealing with, should we say, online arbitrage suppliers, but also as well wholesalers and distributors. So you definitely don't need it, but it can make your life easier. Now, on the flip side, one thing that you might find is having a business email address might cause you to, should we say, have a higher rate of cancelled orders for things like online arbitrage. Why? Well, because quite simply, it's easier to identify who a business is by their email when you're looking at online purchases through online arbitrage, for example, versus, should we say, a personal seller who might be using a @Gmail address. Now, based on my 5 years of experience of selling on Amazon and obviously other Amazon sellers I know, a business email is really not necessary, but it can help you persuade some suppliers to sell their product, especially around the wholesale side. But most of the time, we have not seen it really impact us very much in regards to the OA side. And what can I say? You can see it at the very beginning. We've done over £3 million worth of sales in the UK. And as in the last 12 months, we've been using a business email for that entire time, and so have my team. And if it was a struggle, then we would probably never have got into 7 figures, let alone 3 million. So it's something to consider. Now, while I can say I haven't seen it as really a big hindrance for the OA side, I've probably said that I can't also say that I've definitely seen it as really helped us out in the wholesale side, manufacturer side, but I'm sure it has. I'm sure had we gone in with a Gmail address, they would have asked a lot more questions, maybe wanted to see more information, or perhaps maybe just rejected our initial emails. So having it on the wholesale side, I think has helped, but I don't think it's a requirement. Okay, so today I'm talking about business email addresses, and you might be asking why. Well, quite simply, at a fundamental level, for online arbitrage is not really going to affect you. But if you're going to do things like wholesale, then I believe that it can have a real big benefit. Now, I think wholesale is a great opportunity to get into, and if you've got a money-making machine in online arbitrage, then wholesale can really help you out. Now, the one thing which I'll say is if you are looking at maybe getting into that business, one thing you want to think about is the UK is great, but the USA is better. Now, why do I say this? Because I have met sellers doing 10, even 50 million a year on Amazon USA wholesale. I think the opportunity there is amazing. Now, the one thing which I will say is if you are thinking about getting started in the USA, do check out our Getting Started in the USA course. And I've documented my entire journey for how I got started on selling on Amazon USA. And this is all remotely. I've not gone to the US to set up anything. I have a bank account, I have a business set up, incorporated, talk about tax structures, accountants, prep centers, everything you need to do to set up incorporate your company. Also as well, get your Amazon Seller Central account set up. And obviously now you can start trading. We are obviously going to be doing wholesale in the US with this. Right now we're doing OA, and we are currently doing over 800,000 in the last 12 months, and obviously soon to hit the 7 figures. This is game changing, and you know what? The profit margins in the US are much higher than we're achieving in the UK. If you're interested and want to learn more, do check out the link down below. Getting Started in the USA is a course I put together, which is going to show you every single step that I took to do my incorporation as a UK resident remotely, and obviously why I made these decisions as well. Check it out. I think you'll love it. Now, this leads me nicely onto my third chapter, how to set up your own business email for your Amazon business. Now, what I will share with you is the process of the Google Workspace, whereby creating a business email. Now, there are lots of platforms where you can use to create your own business email, but in my case, we use Google Workspace. So when creating a business email, it's super important to obviously, and you need to have a business domain whereby your emails are going to come from. This is the name that's going to be on the end, i.e. your name here at whatever the domain is, fasttrackfba.com. Now, if you're using Google Workspace, I really recommend, if you haven't done this already, just buy it from Google Domains. It's really simple, and you can add on the workspace. But if not, then obviously you're going to need to transfer your domain name over to your Google Workspace, and obviously to set that up. So just be mindful that's going to be a bit more complex. And I won't go through that here. You can YouTube videos about that. Now, in my Amazon business, we use Google Workspace, Google Suites. The simple reason is I'm building a team here. Like, I'm really wanting to use all the Google Docs. I want to use Google Chat. I want to use, should we say, the delegate access across my G Suite. I find it really easy. And also as well, you can do what's known as one-click login with Google Workspace accounts to all the other applications, which is amazing. If you don't have that, then you've got to go through the whole process of like username, password for every app, which is just a nightmare. So I only have to remember one username and password, and I can use my Google Workspace details to log into pretty much everything else. It makes life so much easier. And because I'm the owner of the workspace, I can control what's going on with my staff. For example, if someone to leave, we can change, redirect those emails, perhaps maybe even change other parts of it, delete sensitive information, information from their browser that we want to do. This gives us control and security as a business. Now, the second step for you to think about here is to create your business email. Now, after you've got your, should we say, domain created and it's created into your actual, should we say, workspace itself, you can now create your email address in that platform. Now, if you're going to have employees, for example, in your company, you can start creating their, should we say, email based on their name and domain, for example. For me, obviously, quite simply, I'm going to have my business email of like thomas@fasttrackfba.com, but I might have like a purchasing manager. So what I might have is like, their name at fasttrackfba.com, but what I might also do is use a shared email account called purchasing@fasttrackfba.com. Why? Because if I have more purchasing managers, then I don't have to kind of get them to use someone else's email address. I could just literally get them to use a shared email account. Works really well. We do that for a lot in our business, i.e. purchasing, administration, and then all my other, should we say, employees, they can work through that, should we say, shared email account by using the delegate access for their own. So they can all work together, but they don't need to have the password, and it works really well. Now, the third step for you is, should we say, do any other necessary setups that you've got to do. So if you've got like your team created, so they've got like team member 1 at FastTrack FBA, team member 2 at FastTrack FBA, make sure they're set up, they're logged into that G Suite, and recommend looking at doing Google profiles. So we do this whereby they have a separate profile for their work, like tom@gmail.com, and a whole another Chrome browser called thomas@fasttrackfba.com. That is my work profile. And that's set up with all my work bookmarks, work saved passwords, workspace, for example. That's something super important, and it really helps you out as well. Now, in my company, after setting up, should we say, the domain, the workspace, and each employee email, we can now have them join Google Chat, where we do all our internal communications, and they can have business email, share files between each other really easily, and also set up simple things like company logos, signatures, profile pictures. That just really makes them feel like part of the team, and it creates a bond between us, and that's why I really like it. Now, the one thing which I'll say is, aside from, should we say, having an email, having a business website is going to help you looking more professional, especially when opening up wholesale accounts if they were to ever check. Now, if you want to know more about business websites, what I'll do is I'll leave a video around here on what is a business website and how it can help your Amazon business. Check that out. Now, hopefully you've liked this video. If you have, give me a big thumbs up. And hey, if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button down below. But for myself, Thomas Parkinson, and FastTrack FBA, thank you very much.